she grew up in Smithtown, and he was from Great Neck.
Very bizarre.
Yeah,
because down south it's very normal. People are popping out kids by 22. They're on their second already. But around here it's like.
Yeah, the closer you are to a city, the later you get married. But yeah.
I never thought about it like that. Right.
Oh yeah, but because my cousins, everybody grew up and either moved to Manhattan. I was the only one who moved east, and they all.
I'm already there.
They didn't get married until they were
It's
like
not
almost
streaming,
40.
Okay.
But I mean, it's streaming, but it's not live yet, so we're good.
I mean, we're at 59,
I went
so
to press go live on here too.
you can hit go live there. We always go a little extra early on TikTok. And let us know when TikTok is live. 2, 1. And we are live on TikTok. Hello, TikTok. You're always the first. You're always our favorite, too. We are live there. We are live
Music
over
Boutique
here.
is live.
Boutique is
No,
live.
we're not live yet.
We're still waiting.
No, it says it's live.
Music Boutique is
And
live.
Did the same thing.
And what about Silver Fox? Are we live on the
that's
mothership yet?
Yeah, that's what we
It's
have
not
on
7
professional.
o'clock, so.
It's not. Ah, yes.
What time is it?
Okay. It's 6:59.
We're vamping.
We're vamping. That's what we're doing. We are live across the platforms. We don't want to close the door? Okay, that's
No, well, Pete ran
Pete's
away.
going to run away.
which
Okay.
means-
All right. Okay.
It's going to be like an extended thing again, like
Yes.
till he gets back
No,
here.
no,
Yeah.
he's fine. He's fine. Danny, you can close it. Yes.
Oh, thanks to Nene.
Welcome, everybody, to the Event Vibes Live Pod. I am John from Silver Fox. He is...
Matt from the Music Boutique.
And this young man here is...
Reverend Joe Ladaza.
Yes!
Welcome to everyone. Matt's favorite part.
Yes, so my very favorite part of every live pod is announcing that it is episode 12. We are hanging out with Reverend Joe, my good buddy.
Action. We're a dozen episodes in here, and this is fun, man. We're having some fun.
Listen,
you know?
man,
I mean,
12
like,
weeks,
12
and it's
weeks.
still going, and we get all-star cast members
Yes.
like Joe. Like
12
this
weeks
is
might be the longest job I've ever had. I mean, it might really be. I don't know.
this is the longest relationship I've
Yeah,
ever had.
there you go.
There
See?
you go.
So, but yeah, so every week we deliver you some wedding wisdom without the BS. That's what we're here to do.
Okay.
You DM us some questions to any of these platforms or across all the channels. We will get to them to you live. We've already had about a dozen questions sent in. Some of them are very fun. But to get things underway here, Reverend Joe, tell us a little bit about how you got into this industry, how long ago. Just give us a little.
Yeah, what's the
a
name
little
of the
backstory.
game, Joe?
Yeah, a little backstory.
So, this was never the plan. It just, and I'm sure you've heard, well, this was the plan today.
I was going to say, you don't want to be in the pod? Or?
No, I never want to be in the pod. But this was never the plan. I never expected I would be doing weddings. In fact, in past parts of my life, I was a musician, I was a photographer, and part of what I had always said back then was, I'm never doing weddings. I'm never going to do weddings. I'm never going to wear a suit. I'm never going to wear a shirt and tie. I'm like, all the things I said I'm never going to do. I was never going to move back to Long Island. I'm doing all of them.
Doing all those.
And now I do it all.
Never say never,
Never
baby.
say never, because it's what's going to happen. So I went to seminary because I had a deep kind of spiritual practice.
Okay.
And the seminary I went to because I was starting to see clients in more of an advisory counseling position. I wanted to create a legal container for that.
Okay.
Part of that seminary training was ceremonies.
Right.
I never expected I'd be doing them, but it just happened to learn about it. But then in 2018, so not long ago, I wasn't part of this industry. My daughter went to college, and I was thinking, I can make a couple extra bucks maybe if I could do some ceremonies.
Right, sure.
And so I started looking for folks to reach out to. I had no idea I didn't even know what the industry was. I didn't know that there was this machine that was this thing that you guys have. And so I reached out through a friend to Pastor April Gismondi, who founded Church of Ancient Ways 25 years ago. She's an icon. She kind of created on-site ceremonies.
Yes, April's amazing.
So I reached out to April through a friend. Can I curse on this?
Yes, you can. It used to be called Ask Us.
So I reached out to Pastor April. I said, hey, looking to see if you'd be interested in having an extra person on your team. And she told me to fuck off.
Oh, April. There you go.
Very consistent
So it's not even like she really cursed. She just threw the curse and
That was it. I was a quote. This is a direct quote.
That's
We
a
want to
direct
be
quote from April. We
wanna
got to
be
stay true to life.
accurate. Exactly.
Yes.
She literally said, because she was overwhelmed. She's like, she had a huge business that she was running, and she told me to get lost. And I even sent back a note to her saying, I'm so sorry.
I didn't mean to hurt
It'll
you.
never happen again.
To which she doubled down and was like, get the hell away from me.
Right.
2 weeks later,
Yeah.
I get a call from April. I need a male officiant for something. you know,
Okay.
are you an idiot? I'm like, I'm not an idiot.
Right.
Like, so come out and see what I'm doing. Follow me around a little bit, and then if I like you, I'll maybe
We'll continue this.
See, yes, exactly. So, and now it's, oh my God, 6 years, 18,
I'm
6
gonna
years
take
later,
my
7
shoes
years
off.
later,
Yeah,
and I own the
yes.
company now.
Wow.
So that's kind of what happened.
That's
What do you think of that?
And I think you have something you want to announce.
Yes.
A little announcement about this
Yeah,
company.
announcement
So
about-
first, I want to honor Pastor April because she created something beautiful, and it was the Church of Ancient Ways was a beautiful organization. They've married close to 10,000 couples. A couple of years ago, when I finally took it over, we were kind of moving towards a rebrand, and now that she's officially retired, she officially retired this year. She'll come out here and there, but I've changed the name of the company now to Long Island Wedding Officiants, which was always the legal name of my company.
Right.
So now we are officially Long Island Wedding Officiants at longislandweddingofficiants.org. And so come check it out, because we are doing the same amount of beautiful, deep, inspiring ceremonies, just with a new name and a new brand, and to keep up with the times.
A new
and,
logo, maybe.
Yep, a new logo, everything, the whole, the website, the whole thing.
And
Well,
to-
congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks for announcing it here.
Yeah, that's
See?
big stuff.
See, people want to announce it. They want to announce it on the live.
That's
pod.
what we want.
That's what we want. That's what the people want. We're giving the people what they want.
That's what we're doing.
So, one of our production assistants here, the lovely Maddie, was mentioning how it's not just go into like how it's not just like
Yeah.
reverends and stuff. You all denominations.
Yes, so we are non-denominational, technically, but we do religious, non-religious. We have rabbis, we have ministers. The whole idea is that we are looking to give you guys a beautiful wedding on site. So if people aren't going to churches, or if they're not going to their temples or synagogues, we have ways of helping you guys get married in a way that's still meaningful. It can honor your backgrounds, but if you're not religious, which is also one of the reasons we took church out of the name of the company,
Mm-hmm.
we want to make sure that you know
Yes.
that you will be represented the way that you want to be seen.
Right. Exactly. Which is great. Which is
Yeah.
absolutely
No,
great.
that's a really good point.
it's a
Yeah,
good point.
absolutely.
So where do brides typically find you?
Yeah,
They,
where is Joe?
Yeah,
Where
Joe.
is he?
You hanging out on the street, Joe?
I'm
What?
everywhere.
He's everywhere.
Just well, we'll get to your background. Yeah.
No, so
Brides of Long Island, probably.
yeah, we're on Brides
Shout
of Long
out.
Island. We
Shout
are, we're on Wedding Wire. We're on the Knot. You'll find us if you search for us on Google and stuff. But really, a lot of what we do is we're in a lot of the venues as recommended vendors. A lot of the Lessings venues, places like Larkfield and places like Westbury Manor, Fox Hollow, Giorgio's, and a lot of the Lessings venues, because they're all awesome. We're lucky to kind of be pitched by a lot of those guys.
Sure.
But people have just been finding us. A lot of it though is word of mouth. Like our couples, I almost weekly now I show up at a wedding where another couple I've married is at the wedding.
Is already sitting there.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And I've only been doing this now for 7 years, and those first 2 years I only did 12 weddings total. So.
Right.
Yeah, so, yeah.
So you've been got some catching up to do.
Yeah.
So,
So-
okay, that's good.
But yeah, a fresh perspective and all of that energy, absolutely. And we had mentioned before, you can't sit in a room with Joe and not want to be around him more. So
Yeah, I want to marry Matt right now. I'm just like,
Listen,
come
man,
on,
he's
you know.
here. We might as
We
well.
might
Let's
as
make
well,
this
you know?
official.
Yes,
Let's
make
do it.
official,
All right.
yes.
Do you?
Not
I
saying.
think our wives might be like, hold on a second, what are we
Yeah,
watching here?
both our wives
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
you're gonna see the DM the question of my wife
Right.
going, take him.
Right. Might get the same from my wife.
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
So-
But then a quick question, because I want you to clear this up
Yes,
for me.
please.
So I run around telling everybody Joe is related to a pope,
Yes.
but that's not the
That
truth.
is not the truth.
Matt's with it. He stretches the
I get
truth.
excited.
He's excited.
The pope was just on TV. I get
I
excited.
mean, it's a natural
Yeah.
segue.
I think it's actually cooler. I'm actually related to a saint.
a saint.
Yes.
That's kind of like
Pope
I think
who?
most-
Pope
Yeah,
who?
exactly. But you
Yeah.
tell every Italian or most Catholics, they want to know who Padre Pio is.
Yes, La Popa.
He is my second cousin twice removed.
Padre Pio,
So-
the saint,
The saint,
is
Okay,
your second cousin.
second cousin twice removed. So,
So-
my great grandmother
okay,
and Padre Pio's father were first cousins.
okay.
So then my grandfather and Padre Pio were second cousins,
Mm-hmm.
and now I'm twice my dad once removed, me twice removed.
So kind of them marrying you is like a saint marrying them. It's kind of pretty
Basically,
much.
it's the same thing.
I have
You have saint
grandmas.
lineage.
I'm telling you something. When Italian grandma, like, so what happens a lot of times, like, couples will come to me and they're like, we wanted to have a church wedding, but it didn't work out. My parents are a little upset. Grandma's really a little.
Grandma's
I
best.
said, well, first, look, I can come in full regalia. I could be in the robes. I said, but tell Grandma that I'm related to Padre Pio, and then when I show up at the weddings, it's like this, Grandma.
Yes.
Just wants to be near.
Yeah.
See, this
Yes,
one's the whole
supposed to be
thing.
near you.
I've had times where I'm like literally getting to walk in to like go start the ceremony, and I'm like, you gotta go sit down,
Yeah, right.
Grandma. They won't let go. It's so sweet.
Oh,
It's
that's
the
wonderful.
sweetest.
That is.
And I don't
yes.
blame them.
Aw.
Good for you, buddy. Yeah. Little holy water just right on you.
So some questions have come in.
Get in it, John.
Yeah,
Get in
we're
it.
going to jump right in here. So from Heather, how long before my ceremony do you arrive, and how long does the whole shebang take?
Yeah,
That's a good question.
that's a good question. So I think we're different than most officiants because we get there an hour before. I do not want you to worry that I'm not getting there, and also because this is a great example. I plan to be there an hour before, so that way even if something does happen and I'm a little late,
You're still
I'm
early.
still on time.
Way early.
I was
Yeah.
driving out to East Wind last summer on the LIE. I got rear-ended. Guy hit me doing about 80 miles an hour and then tried to run.
Oh,
I
awesome.
chased him with 3 tires still working, pulled him over, and the cops caught there, the whole thing, and I still was only a half an hour early to the wedding. I was on a
Really?
on a donut. You know, I was able to
There you
get
go.
there, and they had no idea. None of my couples that weekend knew that I was like.
Then you show up
rear-ended.
sweating. You
Tell
show
them,
up
tell them
cool.
way after the fact.
Yep.
Hey, by the way, I'll never forget your wedding because
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the kind of we get there an hour before because I want to make sure you know that we're there. But for a couple other reasons too. One, I bring my own speaker and mic with me. Like it's just how I roll. The DJs seem to like that.
I do like that very much.
I trust my own gear because I like and I have a certain way I like to work with it. So that gives me an opportunity to set that up. And the other most important reason is I got to see the marriage license when I get there.
Yes.
That is the most important thing. I tell my couples, if you forget everything else, don't forget the marriage license because I can't legally marry you without it. And I'm there an hour early because most people live close enough that if they forget it, we could send somebody to go get the license.
Well, I was going to say most people getting married on the island do live on the island somewhere.
Somewhere.
So
yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
You actually just said something about the license here that I know this question didn't get sent in, but I think we had spoken about it in the pre-interview. Friends wanting to marry friends. Oh, I want a family member. Like, what's the deal with that?
Oh, man.
Because I feel like
Hold
everybody.
on. I feel like this is
Everybody-
we got to put our knuckles
Everybody,
down. I'm gonna take my
everybody's
earrings
doing
off.
that, right?
Take
Is
my
that a question?
fingernails off.
Did you put that in the pre-interview that don't want to touch on this?
No, we
Oh,
do.
I know.
Oh no, we got to lay this out.
Yes.
It's beautiful. Look. Your friend, your family member, it's a beautiful thing that you want them. And they do. Sometimes they know you in ways that other folks don't. But they don't understand is that when they're coming to do your ceremony, they're actually becoming part of your vendor team.
Right.
So they're kind of like now very much responsible for a lot of things they don't even know that they're
Right,
responsible
right, yeah.
for. And what happens is, and this is what I'm hearing from vendors and the venues, they don't love it. They're
Right.
never gonna really. No one person's gonna publicly say that, but they don't love
Right.
it because what's happening is they don't know the timing. They're forgetting to tell people to sit down. They don't get out of the way for the kiss, and now everybody yells at us to get away for the
Right.
kiss because they
Right.
think that we don't know how to do it. But we're the pros; we know how to get away for
He
your kiss.
invented getting out of the way.
Sets us up real nice.
Yeah.
Sets us up real nice, Joe does.
They don't know. They forget to tell people to sit. They don't know how to use the mic. It's like there's so many little things. What I do is not rocket science. It really isn't. But there's so many little things that happen
Yes.
that I'm always thinking about you. Like when I'm doing a wedding, I'm thinking about you. I'm thinking
Me
about
specifically?
you.
Like-
Yes.
I'm always thinking about John.
About John,
and
Thank
his
you, John.
and his people.
Yeah. Yes, my team,
WWJD.
Because like when a couple's up there, I'm looking. Are they standing in bright sunlight? If I take them back a step, are they now in shadow? And the pictures are going to be better.
Mm-hmm.
Is he over here shooting? And am I standing in the way, or should I take a step back? I'm
Right.
looking at everybody, so I know ways. I step out of the way at certain points of the ceremony, so you have other options for
Right.
pictures to
Yes.
make them
Yes,
look out
that
at
is a
everybody.
very good point. Really is.
So I really do think about things that a friend or a family member is just not going to think about. In addition to just knowing how to ask the questions that are going to really bring out what that couple means to
Right.
each other,
Right.
and then delivering it like a friend wrote it, but with the professionalism
Yeah.
of someone who's.
I mean, is it legal?
So it is legal. So the legal piece. Let me explain.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Yeah, it's like a day of thing.
So there's
Yeah.
been a lot of confusion, and I know there are officiants out there who are using, they call them Universal Life Church ordinations, like the online ordinations. Now, the truth is that those have never been legal on Long Island. You can get away with it in New York City because they require you to go into the city and register with the clerk.
Okay.
So you've actually been, your ID's been checked and they know who you are.
Right.
On Long Island, the rest of New York State, there's an article that was published only like 5 or 6 years ago from the Nassau Law Journal that showed that there were a bunch of couples, tons of them, whose marriages were annulled. They were disenfranchised because, and it wasn't during the wedding. It was like during a will reading or something, or inheritance. Then they said that they didn't have a legal wedding officiant marrying them.
Okay.
So I'm ordained through a seminary. I have a secondary ordination through Church of Ancient Ways, which still does exist. Ask if your minister was ordained properly through an organization. Now, there is now another way you can do this, though, as a friend. In 2023, a law went into effect that Kathy Hochul passed called a one-day officiant permit, a single event permit. So now you can go to the same town hall within 30 days of where the couple gets their marriage license and apply for a single event, single use permit to marry them and sign the marriage license. So
you don't want to do that. You can't do that with photography and DJ.
Yeah.
No, there's no single-use DJ
license.
license.
No single-use photography license. No,
you cannot do.
Not going to happen. I mean, somebody could try, but it's not going to.
I just want to point out, as far as the professionalism level of working with someone like Joe, as opposed to someone maybe who you love dearly, but they still just got ordained for your event. I remember specifically April. I was working with April, so shout out to April. And a big issue that DJs have during ceremonies is the microphone doesn't get passed to the people speaking. So the minister or whomever's officiating will be speaking into it. They'll sound wonderful. And then when the video guy is trying to record the bride giving her vows, you can't hear it because they don't know to go like this. And April had a real smooth way of doing it. She had this little folding booklet that she always had, and she had a microphone pinned to the center of it, so she wasn't ever holding a mic in someone's face. She very discreetly just leaned her book in. It was the smoothest way I've ever seen it done.
And I do it. I learned it from her.
Let me get that from you for you right there. All right, so when you have a pro like Joe doing that little extra bit to just make your pictures come out so much classier, arguably, right? Well, then, not that my microphones are ugly, but it's still like a thing.
It's a thing in your pictures.
Yeah, it's still a thing, and having this like real smooth book.
Sure. Yeah. No, I agree. There's little details like that, and you don't realize it when you're planning a wedding, but there are tons of little details. And your friends who's marrying you. Obviously, that's nice. It's a great gesture, but there are a lot of things that they just don't know about.
Because how could you know that? It's not in the one-day pass. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, and there's other things that we can do too. If you really want them to be involved, they're guests. Let them be a guest at your wedding. Especially sometimes a father or a parent or something like that. They're going to be in pictures. They're going to be in photos. They're going to be doing so many things, and then all of a sudden they've got to run in and do this ceremony.
Right.
But we can help maybe include them in a different way. So have them come up and do a part of the ceremony.
A reading.
A reading, or even a little bit. We can help with that.
Yeah, so then they don't have to be ordained or get any permit.
They can do the legal piece.
All you have to do is be able to read.
Yep.
2nd or 3rd grade, max.
I can't even help writing.
Yes. They can hold the mic for you.
I mean, wouldn't that be delightful?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. Good stuff.
But thank you for clearing that up.
Yes,
always
that was a
bothered
big
me a
one.
little bit too.
Big one what people wanted to know, for sure.
Although, hold on, I got a question for John. Joe?
Yes.
Wonderful chatting.
I will step back.
Yeah, but hey, Joe, all right? Jillian had a question for you, all right? Approximately, how much should it cost to run photo and video at a wedding?
About $100. You get
About
$100. No. This is such a wide-ranging question. So how much does photo and video cost? Hopefully not going to break your bank, but honestly, you should have an allocation of at least $5,000, and I'm going kind of low here, just because, listen, it depends on if you want 1 or 2 photographers. It depends if you want 1 or 2 video. There's a lot of moving parts with it, but it's labor intensive. I mean, we have to have an entire team there. So if we have 2 photographers, and we have 1 or 2 video, and that's not even counting any of the back office stuff that we do. So, I mean, we have packages that will start as low for 1 photo, 1 video is like $4,200, I think, which is just 1 of each. And that will cover your bases for a smaller event. But on average, our couples will spend in the neighborhood of like $6. And that's a beautifully covered event. If you want to get into bells and whistles like, drone coverage and that sort of thing, and, there's other stuff, you can always find ways to spend money. But I think if you start dipping below into like that $2,000-$3,000 range, you're getting somebody that's probably working out of the back of their car, who might not show up that day, who might not have the best gear. And listen, everybody's going to start somewhere, but professionals who are really good at what they want to do want to be paid like professionals. We have to have insurance. We have to have a lot of things to make sure that we are, at these venues that we all work at, seen as like, okay, this is a professional operation, which obviously 33 years in, I think we've kind of figured it out. But yes, good question there, Jillian. So I would say 5 to 6K, you're going to be set. So, and comparatively to some stuff of what you're spending on other things, I know people spend that sometimes on flowers, on entertainment. What about entertainment? I mean, let me just throw it right back at you.
Well,
Maybe Jillian's asking that question right now.
Yeah, for sure. Jill, all right, you got to know. So, what you can expect to pay for entertainment always depends on the bells and whistles. Usually, typical package, my DJ, MC, coverage for your cocktail hour straight through to the end of the party with a beautiful sound system and front board with some lights, runs you $3,250 exactly.
$3,250.
All
I'll give
right,
you
so
3,000 cash.
Three.
What about you?
Say you're a first responder with cash.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
we'll work something out.
And now, what about you? That was a question I
Yeah.
think somebody said about how much. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we price ourselves. So there's a couple of things we do. We don't do discounts. We do a very specific pricing scheme that's based on where we are. It goes up depending on the distance. But for a custom ceremony where we meet with you, I'm going to sit with you. I'm going to interview you. We're going to talk. I'm going to give you a draft that we go back and forth with until you love it. That's $650.
Okay.
It's like we're a much lower price point than like a lot of
Sure.
the things that you guys are doing. So it's $650. That's going to give you your custom ceremony. If you don't want to have like sometimes you don't want to be the center of attention,
Right.
or you don't want you want something more traditional. Or you just want to spend a little less money. I have a skip the meeting discount. April always coined it as that. And for that, you save $100. You go to our website. I have a ceremony builder application that you can get access to,
Cool.
and you can build it from all these little drop downs with like lots of different samples.
Okay.
So it's $550 for that. And then we have one other service when it's really, really like within 4 to 6 weeks of the wedding. We call our unscripted level of service. Where the couple gets it, like they just want someone to come after them.
Right. Somebody get out of here.
Yeah. So like within that period of time, we assign someone to them a week before the ceremony. They'll reach out to them and just give them a quick question. Do you want religious, not religious? You saying your own vows?
Right,
You exchanging rings? And someone shows up and from their experience delivers like a slightly shorter ceremony, probably about 10 minutes long.
Right.
But equally beautiful.
But beautiful,
Yes,
yeah. It's
yeah.
like because like
That's-
they have the experience
Right.
of it, and that's like a way to kind of like we do a lot of last minute things these days now too, like a lot more last minute ceremonies as people and like Mondays and Tuesdays and like days like that.
Yeah.
But you did have one other question which I did forget to answer, which was how long does a ceremony take? Most
yes.
of the venues give you a half-hour window for the ceremony.
Okay.
That includes your processional and your recessional. So we always shoot for like a 15 to 20
Yeah.
minute ceremony.
Yes.
Depending on like the number of elements involved and whether you're saying your own vows or not. And we give guidelines on how long those things should be. But 20 minutes is like the sweet spot.
Okay.
That's
Speaking
enough
of
to let somebody know how much you love
Yeah.
them.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of the last minute, which you kind of just touched on,
Yeah.
so this is actually a question for you, Matt. James asked, I'm booking last minute. Can I expect a discount or a premium? Fair question, James. I mean, am I paying more or less? So what's the deal?
Well, I mean, look, I'm going to put it to you like this. So today is Wednesday, July 1st.
Yes. Is it the first? No.
This second.
Second.
Is it the second? Even
Better,
better.
better, yeah,
Even
yeah.
better.
better.
So today we're filming this Wednesday, July 2nd.
Second.
All right. This morning, I booked July 4th.
Really?
Okay?
Wow.
Yes. And in this very specific particular case, all right, because of some nuances of I already have some family obligations and things
Right,
like that, but
right.
I didn't want to leave this person hanging. I did give a little bit of a discount.
Okay,
Right, just
right.
because I'm going to get there a little bit later.
So if
right?
you're willing to wait 2 days before your event,
If you're willing to wait 2 days
and maybe
and roll the dice that I'm
Because
free
every
on the
couple of
holiday, yeah. In this particular case, it did happen to be half a favor. Some people that I really like and care
Right.
about, and I want to make sure that
Right.
their party goes the way that it should. Okay, but normally, if you
Yeah.
reach out to me on a holiday. All
On a
right,
holiday, yes.
and it's going to be some degree of last minute. Yes, expect to pay premium.
Yeah,
Right.
because I mean, you're obviously moving plans
A
around.
lot
everything.
of moving pieces.
So
yeah.
this is I actually one up you. I literally had, this is going years ago. I had a couple that booked me for the next day.
Wow.
Photo and video.
Photo
I'm
and
gonna-
video.
And I'm going to tell you, I'm dead serious when I tell you this is the answer when I said to you, what took you so long? Seriously,
It wasn't
I
like
don't
someone
know what you're
canceled
thinking.
and you were
No,
like-
it was, we kept meaning to get around to this and we just didn't. And I was like, what if we weren't available
Yeah.
as a company? And our answer was, well, there's another photographer down the road. I swear to you, this is yes.
Yeah.
So we did shoot the wedding the next day. So I don't think that can be topped, other than the morning of.
No.
But in general,
that's pretty
advice
good.
is don't wait if you have. I mean, if you've got the time, there's so many. It also has a level of stress that is like, you know what I mean? I just feel like for you, for the $100, $550 to $650. I mean, just pay the extra $100 and
You
get
get
the
so
full
much.
show.
You get so much more time with me too.
yeah,
It's like,
instead of
chat.
drop down menus
Yeah.
and
Who
all
wouldn't
that.
want to spend more time,
Yeah.
Joe? Yeah.
Aw,
Spend the
Saintly,
money.
Joe. Saintly.
That's right.
You know, saintly.
You do. You
In
might
many
feel a little-
ways, sitting next to him, I feel this glow coming off him. Right?
It is. I think it's some of the
Yes.
lights.
I'm blessing them.
He's
I'm
blessing
them
us.
silently.
You're
the
being
whole
blessed
time.
also.
Yes, you are too.
You are watching the Event Vibes Live Pod with John and Matt. We've got Reverend Joe here. Please DM us your questions. We are live across the world, everywhere, even you TikTok. See right there. Maddie's watching on TikTok there. We get a lot of people watching on TikTok, I'm telling you.
Because
especially-
it's all that's where cool,
we are
cool kids
into the
watch things
tens
on
of
TikTok.
thousands of views now on every episode. Is pretty crazy.
Very
Pretty
nice.
great. Yeah. So we already got scheduled to August and some really cool guests coming up. Next week, a great guest. And then the following 2 weeks, big announcement. Can't say.
Oh,
I don't know if
My
you can
goodness.
see. I don't know if you can see our
Yeah, they can actually.
yeah,
Yes.
all of our Polaroids.
Yes,
but there's going
Polaroids.
to be one of
Everybody-
Joe at the end of this. We have had stellar people
Yes.
on
Oh, there
board.
it is right
Yeah,
Hey.
Came
That's
out.
a really nice
And they'll
picture.
sign this at the end, you know.
Sounds good.
yeah.
All right, back to the questions. Partner, for you. So, I'm having a weekday wedding. How can I make sure it's still fun? Lily.
All right, weekday weddings. All right, so just as a fun fact, I just had a wedding this past Monday, a Monday night wedding.
Oh, yeah.
It ended at 12:30 a.m. All right, 300 people. It was a blast. It was a rager.
Nice.
Once you you put yourself in the mental
Your
state.
commitment to
That's it. We're having this wedding. It's going to be on a Monday or a Tuesday or whatever the case is. Tell your friends to take the day off work the next
Yes.
day. All right. You schedule your plans around it too. Make sure you don't have anything else going on that whole week.
don't work that day.
And my effort, all right, as far as the entertainment staff goes, and you guys I'm sure is very similar. The effort doesn't change. I will
Yes.
party just as hard on Tuesday morning at a breakfast wedding as I will on a Saturday night. I'll never change
Yes.
as far as what the product.
Yes.
People's reactions, look, all right, still on a Monday, you have to understand people are still coming off another weekend. Monday, a lot of people, maybe they weren't able to take off work, so they worked all day,
Right.
and they're going to your party, and they have work the next
Yes.
day. So not all of your guests are going to be as enthused.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, let me ask you this, because do you find that like there are days of the week that you've got to work harder to get crowds excited? Like is it like the Friday at the end of a work week harder than a Saturday?
Or
is it
afternoon, maybe.
Yeah.
Afternoon.
Well, that's actually an interesting point. Yeah, sometimes I find that my Friday crowds are a little bit slower to get them involved.
I gotta
right?
get a couple drinks
Yeah.
in,
It does. The warm up period
You
is
should
a little
start
bit
it later.
longer.
I feel
Yeah.
like Friday weddings, you should start, if you're going to have it, don't have your cocktail hour at like 6.
Well, it's tricky because now you're in that gray area where. So yes, I have noticed that the Friday weddings that go later. So say you're 7 to 1 o'clock or something like that on a Friday. Everybody clears out by 11 o'clock.
Yeah, because they're shot.
Because they're beat up. Exactly.
Shot.
So
They're shot.
on a Friday, if you can start earlier, because it is that people, some people
Okay.
are coming off of work, better to force your guests to leave work early than to make them stay at the party later where their
Interesting.
steam is going to run
Just
out.
take
a
off the
little bit faster.
Friday. I mean, just take
Take
off
off.
Friday. You know,
Take
come on.
off.
If you're getting married on the Friday, your friend, just take off Friday.
Yeah.
Come on. Like,
Same
who's
thing
not
with the
looking
Sunday
for a
nights.
3-day weekend.
We had a Sunday night wedding this past weekend also, right before the Monday one. Awesome.
Yes.
Raged, jumped up and down. Silver Fox took pictures of it. Stand by for those photos to be up online.
Yes, we did.
But it was awesome.
It was awesome. It's all we do here is awesome. It's all we do.
I mean, so
I think
far.
you meant to say all we do is
It's
awesome.
awesome. That could be the
put on a
slogan.
business
All
card.
we do is awesome.
All we do is awesome.
It kind of rolls right off there. So, all right, continue with the questions
Lay it
for
on.
Reverend Joe.
Yes, please.
Big Joe.
I think I know the answer to this one. Joanna says, "Do you ever stay for the cocktail hour?" Or dinner?"
I don't stay for the dinner. I don't stay for dinner unless it's like someone I'm marrying that I know personally, and I'm invited to the wedding.
Right.
But I will pop into the cocktail hour. Sometimes it's just to grab a bite because I'll be between weddings.
Right.
I'll book. I'm different than a lot of you guys because I can do multiple events in a day myself personally than like sometimes you guys can. So I can do, but we won't book ever closer than 3 hours. Close to a wedding unless they're in the exact same like town or venue kind of thing.
Yes.
But yeah, I'll pop into the cocktail hour just for a little bite, and sometimes just to say hi because like especially with the grandmas and the Padre Pio thing. Sometimes grandma like really wants me to stop by because she's like, I just want to see you before you leave. I have questions.
Right.
I want to know.
Just stir her drink with your finger.
Yes,
right? Just a little bit of that.
you are now blessed.
Yes. Am I going to get in?
Exactly.
Yes.
Holy
Right?
water.
Just walk around with a glass of ice water spraying at people. That's
It's
cool.
like a little whiskey. Just a little whiskey.
As a general thing, everybody wants to be at a cocktail hour, folks. I mean, honestly, that's why we try to get you to your cocktail hour. Photo-wise, we want to get done. So that extra 10 minutes, when a venue gives you a half an hour, so let's say you're getting 6:30 is your ceremony,
Yep.
and he gets done by 10 of,
Yep.
and if you haven't done a first look, we're going to use that 10 minutes
Oh, yeah.
to do, we maximize that time, so... just
Get those
keep it at
precious
15
in.
minutes if you want.
That-
Especially, I mean,
yeah,
it does help us actually. Believe it or not, every like 10-minute little slot matters and helps. So I mean, interesting about timelines, which can always vary, and there's always somebody a little late. And there's always somebody, and so you want to make sure that you're on point for that. So
That's also why I'm like I work as much for the venue as I work for the couple. That's like kind of how I look for it. And so like the timing is critical. Like if I know that I have that half-hour window, it's like I'm telling the maitre d' as soon as I get there. It's like this is a 20-minute ceremony.
Yeah,
Like, this is,
warm.
or this is like, or if I got like a couple has loaded things up. I've had some like really interesting cultural things like where like they have several like sponsors that want to bring cords and veils and
Some
coins
readings.
and like I'm like I need all the time today.
Yes.
Like I'll tell them I was like if you could even go a couple minutes early,
Right.
to make sure, and that's important.
yes. So you do, do you bring your own mic and speaker, which you
said
I
you
do,
yeah.
yeah. And part of that is like if something goes wrong, like because I've been up when I started, I would use the stuff that sometimes the battery's just low and the mic cuts out. Sometimes the distance between me and the DJ is so far that there's like maybe the range just clips a couple of times. And regardless of whose fault, it's my fault.
Right.
Because I'm the guy on
You're
the
the
mic.
one with the microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, you're the guy they can't hear.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly,
what?
exactly. And so like I have my system. It works. I always keep it in good shape. I bring a lav mic the way like April does. So we go when you're doing your vows, it's clipped right here so that everybody's hearing you
we
do
can
your
hear it,
thing.
yeah.
And that way also so that there's not this in your photos. I don't want that in your.
We don't want that in your
pictures,
photos.
We don't
do
want a
not
big
want that
microphone
in your
for no reason.
photos.
Yeah, and just from the DJ's perspective, it's always really cool when the pros show up with their own stuff.
Yeah.
I've had it on a couple of different occasions. The agreement that the officiant was going
Yep.
to bring their own stuff, they didn't, or it didn't work, or whatever the
okay.
case is. Because not everybody has the same background that April has
Right.
in the music industry to
Right.
be able to supply their own stuff.
Yeah.
So sometimes they'll go and get a discounted version of gear
Yes.
just because it was available to them and easy.
Yeah.
Obviously, the entertainment company that I have, we have all professional microphones and professional
Yeah.
speakers. So my stuff doesn't clip. You could be on the other end
Yeah,
of
that's
the
cool.
of the venue.
Yeah.
And I had to run out and sweat and hurry up and put something together within this half-hour window so that
You saved the day. So if the Amazon mic, if the labels on the microphone says Amazon,
Yep.
you got to say to somebody like,
Yeah, if it's a little speaker
Yeah.
that they just like plop down on the
or
table
worse,
next to the candles.
If it says Fisher Price, that's
yeah, and it's connected with like a little colorful thing. No,
those
Right, the
plastic,
little blocks,
those little
yeah.
plastic microphones that like kind of rattle.
Yeah.
my first microphone.
My first microphone.
So
You don't want to be my first microphone. Trust me. You don't. You don't.
we
You
always
don't.
have backups just in case, but it can add a little bit of stress to someone who is either in a hurry to get to their next show or just is making people sit out in 90-degree June early hot weather while I hurry up and put a mic and speaker up for them.
And that's like speaking of 90-degree hot weather, brides, I love you. You're amazing. If
She
it's
is.
over 90 degrees or if it's under 50
Don't make
degrees,
your guess of the sun.
don't kill grandma. Just don't kill grandma. I've seen too many grandmas like just
Don't say die, please.
melting.
No, okay, melting.
Just hot.
melting.
And sweaty and poor these guys with jackets
Yes.
and giant
Yep.
Yes.
sweat stains.
Yeah, I have an ice vest that I will bring on a 90-degree
Really?
day. Under my robes, I'll have an ice vest, and I'll be sitting there cool as a cucumber with extra napkins because I know the groom is just drenched, and I'm just like handing them napkins the whole time.
That is
Excited.
brilliant.
Yeah.
That is brilliant.
Think about that, grooms. If you
And-
get married in the middle of August,
Yep.
a little ice vest.
Ice vest.
And a heat vest for the winter.
And a heat vest for the winter. Well, we just solved the problem there. So if you do want to get married, now your guests are screwed.
Yeah, exactly.
But grandma is going to be shivering or
Or at least
passing out.
just tell them. Tell them like so they know. Like tell your guests that you're gonna have if it's outside and it's gonna be cold, so they know to bring their jackets.
Right.
Because sometimes they'll show up, they'll check their coats, and they'll be like, "Okay, everybody, we're going outside," and they're like, "Wow."
Well,
Yes.
most venues still have an indoor option.
Yeah.
Even if,
Yes.
even if it is planned to be an outdoor
Yeah.
wedding or vice versa, there's always another
Yeah.
spot.
Yeah, you can,
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh,
so
yeah.
this is all tips that diamonds, gems. We're getting
Yes.
gems here with Reverend Joe. So what do we got here?
Well,
Question.
but speaking of venues, while we're still talking about the venues,
Yeah.
You got a favorite? I mean, or a top three? Is there a
Oh,
top
yes,
three?
yes, yeah.
Because Cynthia.
Is that kosher? Am I allowed to say that?
Well, actually, very specifically, it's for John.
Yeah.
Cynthia asked John specifically if Silver Fox has a top three places
Yeah.
that either are very picturesque, that he likes to shoot at, or the pictures come out particularly well. John.
Cynthia, you think I wouldn't touch that one with a 10-foot pole? But Joe, how about no?
And I won't lie. I actually got. I'm not going to say who, but I got when they found out I was coming. One of the venues reached out and they said, "If you give us a shout out, I'll waive your commission
Oh,
on
wow.
the next gig."
Oh,
And
my
I
goodness.
laughed. I was like,
Wow.
"That's very
Okay.
cool." But I can't do. It.
No.
I love you all. I love you all.
So here's what I will say. It really depends on the type of wedding you want. So if you're looking for waterfront, because we are on an island here, obviously you're going to look at certain places, Land's End, Crescent Beach. There are places that, and it's not only, they're great, the Piermont.
Yep.
If you're looking for a country club wedding, that's very, so I feel like it really depends on what your look and style. Also, we had Jerry Scott from Westbury Manor here a couple weeks ago. Like if you want a traditional gardens, manor,
Gold Coast
beautiful.
of Long Island.
do you
Yeah.
want that? You want something more Tuscan,
Yeah.
European. You might look
Larkfield.
at Larkfield. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I think it really style-wise. So for me to say what my favorites are, I married an Italian girl. We love food. So it's all like about the food.
Yeah.
Like you're just like, I need a lot of food. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
that, and that's where I think, at the end of the day, you're in a room, you're having fun, you're dancing. The outside, yes, matters, but you're really just with family and friends, and you need good music. 2 people in love, big party. The ingredients for success are there.
Oh, yeah.
So where you're getting married could be at a VFW. So you're not going to pin me down on that one, Cynthia.
Yep.
The ones that I mentioned are great, but there are others that are great as
Tons.
well.
Yep, and every venue has something to offer at every level, like size, food, view. They all have something beautiful to offer. You find the place that fits right for you, and you're gonna have a great time. Especially if you bring in the pros to make sure that it's gonna be
Pros, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's all on the
and
pros.
speaking of a pro tip, music-wise, selfishly, as far as the entertainment company is concerned, what makes a good venue is acoustics. All right, if you get a nice room that has the sound sounds the way that it should, then obviously it makes my job easier and makes for a better party.
Sounds the way that it should. Yeah.
Well, yeah, let's say curtains. Sound absorbing doesn't cause a lot of
We have
echo.
curtains here.
Right?
Peter put up curtains here so we would absorb.
less echo.
Well, and
Less echo.
obviously you guys have your act together too, having to record the sound. But place that'll have maybe we love high ceilings, but not too high because then it echoes a little
Right.
bit.
Then there's
All right?
echo.
Yes, or low, but not too low that now the sound is like bouncing off of you and hitting you
Yeah.
right in the head. So you got to find that sweet spot in a couple of
Just visit 46 venues and then decide make a spreadsheet, do all that, and then you'll figure it out easily. Once you visit them all, then you'll know.
I
right?
think there's like an emotional connection
Yeah.
to certain places. People, a lot of the couples, I'll ask them sometimes when I'm meeting with them. I'll be like, so why did you pick, Watermill? Why did you pick Fox Hollow? And they'll be like, I just walked in and I just knew it. I knew that was the
You could
place.
see yourself
Yeah.
partying there,
Yeah.
yeah, and I can appreciate that. But speaking of going to a dozen different places, John,
Yeah.
one of your clients, all right,
Their only gives initials. Here,
their future mother-in-law
Yeah.
suggested that they visit at least 5 photographers.
Why
now
not 10?
I'm going to
Yeah.
pitch this right to you
Listen.
afterwards. All right, but you're going to start here. How many is too many, and how many is could give you perspective, John?
Yeah,
lay
I
it on.
mean, so listen, I think 5 is crazy. Like, if you want to go to 5 websites and look at photos and stuff, but think about the time that you're going to actually invest in visiting 5 places or doing 5 Zoom calls. I mean, you're talking about hours and hours here. So what I would do, you can tell your mother-in-law that, yes, we can do some research online, but at most, maybe 2 or 3. Because honestly, if you're at 5, we all start to seem the same. Yeah. I mean, it's like, oh, nice photos. You know what I mean? Like, so there are a lot of places that can shoot nice photos. Really comes down to like the experience that you're going to have with the company, with the photographer, that connection that you make. And I just feel like venues is different. I feel like venues, you're kind of looking for the place you need to see. But photos, you're envisioning you in a picture. And I think 5 is honestly, sorry, Mom, I just think that's way too many. So I would say 2, maybe 3 max. But do plenty of research online, look at reviews, all that stuff. But I just feel like at some point it gets to be like everybody looks the same. So, how about you, Joe?
It's funny. I come from this kind of school of thought that like if I'm your guy, then and I'm available, I'm your guy, then that's great. If I'm not, I want you to find the person who's right for you. And what I do is a little bit it's kind of personal,
Yeah, it's as personal as you can get.
Yeah.
So I'm like, go talk to folks. I mean, there's only so many folks doing this on the island. There aren't like as many. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's me. There's Chris from New York Officials. There's Dan Callahan. There's there's just some good people. There's Chris Rosa. There's some good people out there. They have a vibe. They have a way of working. Mm-hmm. If I'm your and I have my team. I have amazing folks on my team. I have a bilingual official. I'm like, but are they giving you what you want?
Right.
Are they providing? And so go look at them. We have videos. Go look at them. Come talk to me. I'm happy to talk to you. Talk to them because like if they are your fit, I want them to do your ceremony. I don't want to do a ceremony for somebody who I'm not their vibe.
Right. Yeah. What about you? How many?
I mean, I appreciate when people see at least one other DJ, just so that you have some type of comparison.
Do you like to be seen first or second? If you
first. I want to be first. I want you to come in, sit with me.
Come to this place.
And then, you got to come see the studio. Always come in. If it's reasonable to you, if you don't live super far away from where we are, it's always in your best interest to come visit us, come sit, come feel it, experience it. When you meet with me, and this is what I tell people, when you meet with me, if you wouldn't invite me to your wedding anyway, don't pay for me to be there. Yeah, all right? You got to meet me. Wow, this guy is great. We are having an awesome time. If just sitting at a desk with him is this fun, he's got to come to the party, all right? Exactly. Can only imagine we give him a microphone and some speakers. Yeah. So the idea is, particularly with the DJ, obviously there has to be a vibe match for everybody. Yes, sure. More so with you, Joe, for sure. But when you sit with me, if you don't like me, don't invite me to your party.
Right. Yeah. Don't pay me to be there.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. No.
But just like with you, Joe, how can you not? Once
you
meet with Joe, anybody else is going to be second fiddle, and I like to believe that too. Once you sit with me and you see my staff and you see the equipment that we have and you experience everything.
Come here.
How go see somebody else?
Yes.
Maybe be a little bit disappointed,
right?
And then come back
and come here to the studio. Honestly, you get to see the pod studio.
This place is awesome.
And exactly. You get a drink menu. You get the full experience. Like people don't do it like we do it here. So
the espresso machine.
I will always freshly ground coffee beans.
Fresh ground Italian coffee.
We don't mess around here. We'll even take your Polaroid.
I'm gonna walk through and I'm gonna bless everything in here. Now it's just going to be that much more awesome when you come.
Yes, it'll literally be like a blessed.
Name one other place that's blessed.
None. Sorry, there just aren't.
Can't do it.
There are not.
Don't exist.
There are not. So let's see here. We've got the live questions. I appreciate them coming in. I think we kind of covered most of them in one way or another, so we don't have to repeat here. But anyway, so you are watching us, Event Vibes Live Pod. John, Matt, Reverend Joe here. We love you guys. Honestly, every week we look forward to this, right?
I change all of my Wednesdays. I don't plan anything else. I don't do appointments, nothing.
Nothing gets planned. I mean, it's we look forward to literally start, promoting it a few days before, and the guests are always excited to be here.
Well, very selfishly, Joe, I was really looking forward to this. All right, Joe's just one of the clients. Yes, he's industry professional, but also my buddy.
Yeah.
So I was really excited that, hey, you can have your
Plus, you want to be blessed. You want to be blessed.
Well, that was a bonus.
A sinner like you.
The only sin is not doing enough parties.
Oh, that is true. That is absolutely true. Maddie, what do you think over there, huh? Maddie's our production assistant here. She's checking in on TikTok. How's TikTok doing there?
It's
Good?
been great. We've
Been
had
great.
a lot of people popping
A lot
in.
of people popping in. Hi, folks. TikTok. We're going to get...
All the questions have been on Instagram.
Okay, yes. No, I know. We're getting them here. I think we might have covered them all. I'm just going
No,
through
like I said, I think we're awesome. I mean,
Right? I mean,
we know what inspired him to be here.
How can
I
they
like
find
it.
you?
I like the new
How can they
name.
find you guys?
You can find me on Instagram.
The new branding.
Yep, at Long Island Wedding Officiants,
Long Island
or
Wedding
me personally at Reverend Joe Iadanza. It's like Tony Danza with an IA at the front of it. You can find us at longislandweddingofficiants.org.
Mm-hmm.
And
And you can find his cards on my desk. So
Yes.
please come in,
Yes, on our
visit.
desks as well, yes. And you'll be in very good hands at all denominations. So,
oh yeah, non-religious, religious. We can cover
All of it.
interfaith ceremonies. You got a Jewish and a Christian together. I've done Islamic, and we do all sex, same sex. Everything. We do it all.
checking every box.
Yep.
Check.
A lot of boxes checks, a lot of happy couples, a lot of love.
Yes.
I
A lot of
do.
love.
What he
lot of
said.
love. It's what he said, right? A lot of love.
What they
So
said.
we're gonna go. He's gonna bless this place now. We should have ordered pizza again, but I know last week I know you were like, no,
I'm gluten free, so
Gluten-free.
unfortunately, I'm sorry.
I was shouting him out again earlier on the teaser.
But I love
Mike's
pizza.
Underground. Yeah, now
Mike's
we got
Underground Pizza.
Mike's Underground
You
Pizza.
changed my life. You ruined my summer.
Yeah. He has his Mary Jane pizza now too.
Listen, man, I wanted my soap bars for the summer. Not going to happen.
Yeah.
Instead, me and Mike's Pizza are going to be best friends, and I
We're
appreciate you, buddy.
besties. We're besties. Shout out to them again. All right, folks. So listen, thanks for tuning in. Episode 12. Next week, we've got another great guest. I will just tease it out as it's entertainment based. So, okay, entertainment based.
Whatever that means.
Whatever that means. Oh, you know who it is. It's all good here. But we want to thank you for tuning into the Event Vibes Live Pod. I'm John from Silver Fox.
I'm Matt from the Music Boutique, and
I'm Reverend Joe Iadanza.
And we will see you next week. Thank you for tuning in again. All right.
awesome sauce.
Great job.
Thank you.
Excellent.